Hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Back at it again with another one here at the Shots with Jay channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Every like, comment, and sub, I appreciate it, right? So we're going to be going directly head to head. This is a 1v1 of the Canik versus the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, right? So both of these are marketed towards the concealed carry area, and this one, the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, is technically marketed as a micro compact, and the TP9 Elite SC from Canik is marketed as a subcompact. But both are for the same purpose, both have the same uses, and we're going to be going head to head, right? Pros and cons between the both of them, what I like and what I don't, and pretty much their uses and what we can get out of them. You know, in modern day, compared to back then, this is our sword on our side, so to say, right? So this would be the equivalent of having the sword on your side. So, you know, we got to see what blade we like, and which one just is an extension of us. So I guess I'll start with the Shield Plus, right? This one does come with a 3.1 inch barrel, and this one is chambered in 30 super carry, right? Is empty. Safety check. So we'll go ahead and go over the barrel. This one is a pretty thick barrel for what you get out of it. It's a 30 super carry, but that is a thick barrel. I feel like it helps tame some of the recoil down, and that's because 30 super carry is a tamer cartridge than 9mm anyways, though you get similar performance. So this is a 3.1 inch barrel. Right, so that's like ultra concealability. You know, once you start to go any lower than that, you're gonna have a compromise on velocity, right? So honestly, I wouldn't go lower than that. This would probably be my maximum, or really my minimum barrel length that I'm willing to go. They also do have some shields that are 4-inch barrels, and those are pretty cool too, right? But I just think that if you're gonna get a shield that's a 4-inch, you know, you might as well just go with one of the MMPs that are compact and have a 4-inch and have a greater round capacity. But I do get the argument, right? Because some people want to stick with the Shield Plus because of how thin it is and things like that you can't get with other models. So really, it just goes for whatever anybody wants. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying that this is the lowest that I would go in terms of a barrel length. Right, so this is a 3.1 inch barrel. I'm going to leave that right there. The Canik TP9 Elite SC, this is a 3.6 inch barrel. Right, so a little bit more velocity, closer to 4-inch, but not quite there, right? So another safety check. Empty. Alright, so the Canik. And you know, you can tell that this one is a little bigger than the Shield Plus. And let's go ahead and compare these side by side, right? So let me just take that up. And let me try and even it as much as I can. You can already tell right off the bat how much bigger the TP9 Elite SC is compared to the Shield Plus, right? And I'm having it here from the back of the slide to kind of get, you know, where the length would be at. But let's just say that we're doing it from the top of the barrel. You still see how much back the Canik goes. So head to head, that would be like that if you're doing it from the barrel, and it would be like that if you're doing it from the back of the slide, which is typically how it's done. So, you know, quite a difference there. You can just tell. I mean, 3.1 and 3.6, you are looking at a ½ inch bigger on just the barrel. But if you're looking at a ½ inch bigger on the barrel, obviously you're going to be looking at minimum a ½ inch bigger on the slide and the frame as well. You know, so it is going to go ahead and increase pretty much everything in size. So barrel length does matter. So the pro of the 3.1 inch barrel length, obviously it would be concealability. I feel like the Shield Plus is one of the most concealable pieces that you can get, especially during, like, you know, the seasons do matter. During summertime, you can definitely go ahead and conceal that without ease, even with like a shirt that's not baggy, you know, something thin. You don't need anything, you know, loose. So that's something that is a big plus with the Shield Plus, and it's a 3.1 inch barrel. Now, the Canik, on the other hand, you can go ahead and use it in the summertime, but I will say that the shirt can't be like super fitted or super tight. You know, it's just got to be like a normal shirt. But yeah, for sure, you definitely can. It doesn't need to be a loose shirt, but it can be a normal shirt. That's what I'm saying. The Shield Plus can be a tight shirt. So that would be the best way that I could explain that. Now, of course, both of these right now, they're standing without an optic. So you go ahead and put a dot on either one of these, and you know, you're gonna go ahead and inevitably just increase the size. That's just the way it goes, right? And you know, when it comes to like pocket carrying and things like that, well, obviously once you get a dot, all of that goes out of the window, and you pretty much got to get a holster, right? Unless you Mexican carry it and and just bang it like that, right? So but I don't recommend that. Go ahead and get a holster, guys. So this is the way it would be, side by side, right? So all right, let's check out the Canik, right? This is how it's gonna go ahead and look from right here. And honestly, I really do like the Canik. I remember picking this up like right after COVID. I got it a little more expensive than what they're out for today, but no regrets, right? This thing has treated me really well. I've carried it many times, and I've felt very shielded enough with this. I didn't feel underpowered or anything like that. I know you got people rocking it out here with full size 20 round magazines, right? Carrying an appendix like that somehow. I mean, you could go ahead and do that, right? If you got some sort of like hoodie, jacket, something like that, right? But if you don't, especially now that like summer's coming along, you know, you're gonna have to size down. That's just the way it goes, right? So the Canik TP9 Elite SC, I really do like the texture. Something that you notice is when you're holding this is that the texture on the sides, they're smoother, right, than the front and the back. These are like more checkered, if you can see that, and that's a good thing, right? Because the front and the back is definitely where you go ahead and grip it. Let me go ahead and put this magazine in. Is where you grip it. But if you're carrying appendix, you know, to reduce any like belly rub, irritation, or anything like that, they went ahead and smoothed out the sides. So I really do like that. Their texturing is really good. I just wish they could have gone more up, right? Put some over here, you know, towards this part where you grip. But the texture overall, it's definitely good enough. It is optics ready. From my understanding, all the TP9 Elite SCs are optic ready, but I may be wrong on that. But just mine came optics ready. I just never went ahead and had the chance to do that. And we're not going to really be going over, you know, all the points between each one of these, right? It's more of a head-to-head comparison. So with that being said, let's go ahead and compare the top on just so you guys can really get how much thinner the Shield Plus is. Yeah, so I think this right here puts it into a greater perspective. I think right there is about even from the back of the slide. So on top of the length, you can just tell right off the bat that that the Shield Plus is thinner. So let me go ahead and get that one more time from all angles. Oh yeah, this is like a total size difference. You know, this is why this one on my left, the Shield Plus, is considered a micro compact, and this one right here is considered a subcompact, right? And like I said, they both have the same uses. They can both do the same things really, really good. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these. You know, 9mm is just so popular today. You can get any type of round in the world that you like to do really anything you want at any grain. It's just crazy, right? Now, they do use the exact same slide and frame for the Shield Plus and 9mm, so just consider the dimensions the exact same, because that's exactly what it is, right? And of course, I'm referring to the one with the 3.1 inch barrel, not these shields that have the 4-inch barrel. And the texturing on the shields, everybody knows that Smith & Wesson probably has the best texturing in the game, but once again, they lacked texture up here. So I went ahead and put some Edge series grips, and I went ahead and put the Hogue grip on top of it, and these are from Handle It. Yeah, that's the name, Handle It Edge series grips. In addition, I also went ahead and put some texturing here because the Shield Plus did lack that, and that's just for my support hand, just to help tame some of that recoil. But I didn't do that on this one because this one already comes with natural texturing here on both sides, and once again, I like to use that for my support hand. So with texturing, if we're talking about on the actual grip, I mean, this one did have better natural texturing, but this one has more texture. It has it right here and on both sides, and in addition that they do go ahead, and as you can see right there, they do actually extend the texturing down to the magazine where you grip it, and that might be maybe a point that a lot of people don't notice, but it's something I notice. So they imitate the exact same texturing here when you grab it. That way it imitates a full-size grip at least as much as possible. But obviously they couldn't do that on the back because they cut that piece off right there, so you can hide it a little better and conceal it better in your shirt or wherever you're carrying it. So in terms of upgrades or mods or anything like that you can do, they both have an insane aftermarket. Smith & Wesson has one of the best aftermarkets, probably right after Glock. But honestly, Canik is right there too. I'm just not sure if it's exactly at the same level, but with Canik there's just so many options as well. With that being said, with these specific models, right, considering that the Shield Plus does actually not have a rail right here in the front, you're left with several options. I mean, very few options. You can either get a TLR6, which is something I did, and it's trigger guard mounted, right? There's no rail. So that means that you're pretty much stuck with this light or nothing, right? Unless you get a rail that is trigger guard mounted, and then you put something on that rail. But then it just gets beefy, and in my opinion, it looks kind of ugly, right? And it takes away from what you got this up for in the first place, which was the concealability. So if you go that route, you know, it's not really something I recommend if you have the Shield Plus. But at the end, it's either you don't get a light at all, or you get the TLR6, right? So I just got the new one, the TLR6 HLG. This one is with the higher lumens and the green beam and all that. So I think this one is perfect, right? And a lot of people say 300 lumens is not enough. Guys, it's enough. It's definitely enough. I mean, it's not like 1,000 lumens or anything crazy that you get out here, right? But it's adequate. And like I said, it's either this light that you get from Streamlight, or you just don't hop on the light at all in the Shield Plus, right? And it's not knocking anything down from the Shield Plus. They're deemed the golden standard when it comes to concealed firearms, at least in the subcompact, micro compact area. So I went ahead and went with that. However, this one, it actually has a rail right here. So since it has a rail, you can go ahead and put any type of light in the world that you want on this thing. You can get a Streamlight, you can get an O-light, you can get a bunch of different aftermarket things. You can put lights, lasers, all of that, right? They do both have different companies that offer trigger upgrades, right? And I'll be going over the triggers shortly. But I honestly don't think either one of these needs to be upgraded at all. For the triggers, they both have great triggers. And I don't think that there needs to be any type of modification, right? But if you just wanted to go that extra mile from how good they are already, then you can go ahead and definitely do that, just because the aftermarket support is there. There's different companies that do it. But I think that, you know, considering that these are both meant for carry, I think they're at a good trigger weight as well. So I guess we'll compare the triggers, but let's start with the shield on this one, right? So empty the mag. Once again, make sure it's empty. All right, guys, let's check this out. So this one is not the old Smith & Wesson hinge style. This one has a safety blade right there. So let's check it out. So you have to pull the safety blade in order for the trigger to pop off. Let's imagine I don't do it, and I'm just pulling the trigger without the safety blade being initiated first. It just won't pull. This has to be pressed before you pull it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So that's the safety blade. Let me go ahead and focus that. My bad. Let me make sure that it's right. Alrighty, there you go. Safety blade. Alright, right there is the wall. It's super short and crisp. Very audible and tactile. It has a great trigger. Alright, let's check out the reset. So one thing I noticed with the with the trigger on the Shield Plus is that whenever the reset is happening, right? Whenever the reset is happening and you're going back, I don't know if you guys can see it, pay attention right there to when I'm going back. It like pushes it out, which is a good thing. It pushes it out so that way it's back to where it was right before the wall. And which is good, right? It's gonna lead to better follow-up shots, things like that, right? So let's check out the Canik now. Now Canik, Smith & Wesson's good, right? You know, just the way it is, it's better than the old design. But when it comes to being the best, right? Caniks and Walthers are probably the best out of the box, at least. And Canik did put many of their designs based on the Walthers, right? Alright, so here is the take up. Again, the same idea with the safety blade. If you don't press that down, the trigger just won't pop off. You need to go ahead and press this little gray area right there in the middle for it to depress. Alright, so that's the wall. This one kind of has like two walls. So that's the depressing of the safety blade, the first wall, the second wall, All right, I'm about to click it out. Crazy crisp. And here is the reset. Let's check it out. Trying to focus that. There you go. Super short. Even shorter than the Shield Plus. Let's do that again. It's crazy. So honestly, it's not as tough as it seems. As good as they both are on the trigger, the TP9 Elite SC has the better trigger. I'm just gonna put it like that. Now one could argue, right, that you know, the heavier weight and it being that short, you know, it's probably better for concealed carry if it's a little heavier. But honestly, I think that the Canik is just fine. I think that it's better than the Shield Plus, and they both have great triggers. You don't even need to upgrade either one of them. But you could definitely do that if you just wanted to make this thing like super fast. And they're both already really fast. You can go really fast with either one of these things. They both have really good sights. So speaking of sights, let's go ahead and go over that, right? I'll start with this one, right? The Canik, as for sights, it does have a blacked out rear. I'll go ahead and focus that. It does have a blacked out rear for the sights, and the front is a green fiber optic. So the sights are really easy to pick up. I really do like that. But they're better for the daytime, of course, since it's a fiber optic in comparison to the nighttime. Now for the Shield, it's a little tricky, right? Because they do go ahead and offer many models in the Shield. They have some with fiber optic sights. They offer some with night sights. They offer some with just straight up white dots. They have a whole spectrum of things that they offer, right? But with these, I really like these because these it's supposed to be like a blacked out rear. Let me go ahead and focus that. But these are night sights, so it's a orange front, and it's supposed to be a blacked out rear. You just see them glowing a little bit, and that's because I don't have the best lighting right now. But let's just say I had plenty of lighting, they wouldn't glow. But all three have the night sight, the tritium insert, and it has an orange for the daytime. So these are kind of like hybrid sights. So I really like these sights, and in my opinion, these sights are better than the Canik. But again, that's just with the specific model that I got. I know that there's many Shield Pluses that don't have that. For example, these sights would be better than the standard white dot sights that come on the Shield Plus. So it really just depends on the model that you get. And you can also go ahead and upgrade the Canik sights to night sights. They have all of those things online. Like I said, right, for either one of these, the aftermarket support, it's there. You know, if you can think it, you can do it. You can definitely do it. And that goes for either one of these, right? Now, this one is not chambered in 9mm. So with that being said, they don't offer a threaded barrel for the 30 Super Carry Shield Plus. But if this were a 9, they do offer plenty of threaded barrels. And the same thing for the Canik. They do offer threaded barrels from the site as well, from Canik, but different companies do as well. Like I'm saying, the aftermarket is just great. Anything you want, you can definitely do it, and that goes for any category, right? So overall, both of these are insane, and you can't go wrong with either one of these. I feel like I would definitely get the TP9 over the MC9, and that's just because so many people have issues with the MC9. You know, like just crazy reports, and the amount of people I just wouldn't really risk getting the MC9 unless you're getting the newer MC9s, and that would be the MC9 LS, which is the long slide, or the L, as well as the MC9 Prime, right? So those are the MC9s that I would get. I'm really just referring to the original MC9 that had tons of issues with it, and that's just because it was, I guess, newer and the smallest concealed carry piece that they had tried to go with, but I don't think they were really quite ready for that area yet. So that's just something that I want to point out with both of these. Oh, right, and one thing that I did forget to point out, so they're both RMSC footprint, right, for the dot, but let me try and focus that. But here on the Shield Plus, if you notice right here, there is a bullet window, a loaded chamber indicator, and if there's a round in there, you'll see the brass light up. And I have seen it myself. It's very visible, like you literally can't miss it. So that's how this one is, right? Now this one doesn't have that at the top, but what they do have is a loaded striker indicator if it's gonna pop. And in the back, I'm trying to make sure that it's good right there for the focus. Sometimes this camera, well, pretty much right here in the back, it's red. Right here in the back it's red, and whenever you press the trigger, it goes away. You can kind of see that. So you see it's blank, you charge it, it's right there, there you go. And then when you pull the trigger, it goes away. So pretty much, like, if you want to know if it's, you know, ready to pop or something like that, you know, you'll see that thing on. But if it's blank, you'll know that the slide isn't racked back and there isn't one in there. So it's a different design on both of them. They're both really good. The issue with this one is that's only if the slide is racked back, not if there's an actual round in there. But at the same time, it lets you know that it's racked back regardless if there's a round in there. So it can be looked at either way. And then this one is just if there's a round in there, but you can't see if it's, I guess, racked back, so to say, and not from the back. You would have to see it from the top side, and this one not from the top side. You would have to see it from the back. So I guess it depends on the sort of movements you're going to be making, and what your style kind of is, right? Now, the magazines, I know Canik does use magazines from Medgar, and Medgar is literally one of the best that can make magazines. So that is something that I really like. And these can be used with all Caniks of all models. Of course, chambered in 9mm, right? Believe it or not, there are some older Caniks chambered in 40 and things like that. But for the ones chambered in 9mm, Medgar, they're all interchangeable, and Medgar is one of the best, that's for sure. They make really high quality mags. Now Smith & Wesson, they do their own magazines, but they're also high quality. Smith & Wesson magazines, they never fail to amaze me. They're also made of crazy strong metal. I really don't like magazines made out of plastic. It's one of the things that I just really don't like. Thankfully, like for example Glock, Medgar now makes metal mags for Glocks, so you can go ahead and get that too. You don't need to stick around with the plastic mags. And I'm just meaning, like, you know, shock absorption or things like that. Like if it drops, you don't want any cracks or things like that. I think just metal is the way to go, and they're both really high quality. Now for the magazines, here on the Canik magazine, you're gonna go ahead and get the luxury of seeing how many rounds are in the magazine one by one in the back of it. So this is how it looks like. The sides, they're gonna be empty. So if you, like, let's say you take out the magazine, right? How many I got in there? You check out the back of the mag, and it's gonna show you how many rounds you got left. Now this one shows you every single one, right? Here on this one with the Smith & Wesson, it's empty on this side, it's empty on the backside, but here, this is, my bad guys, my bad, I cut off. But pretty much what I was saying is right here on the magazine, this is where the round indicator is. You only get them here on the side, and it only goes by like 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Whereas here on the Canik mag, you get every single round here, and compared to just partially. Now it's cool that it's even included on both of them, because back then they didn't do that at all. But I'm gonna give that to the Canik, because for every single round, I think that's super impressive. You can't even miss it. And for me, it's just more convenient, like to have that type of ability to check them all out. Because here, if, like, for example, if it's going by even numbers, 8, 10, 12, if you get like 11 or something, you just won't see the round. It's gotta hit one of these numbers. So that's something I don't really like. Here, you just get every single one. So that's something that I'm gonna give to the Canik. But yeah, guys, pretty much other than the grip texture on both of them, I went ahead and upgraded the grips here. You can do the same here. And the serrations, I know I've touched on that. They both lack on serrations here. They only have them here in the bottom. You can pretty much say they don't even have any. And then here, I really don't like how they fade out over there. I know they're trying to do like a claw design or whatever, but it's just not good for usability at all. It needed to stick the way it is back here, go from all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. That way you can use them properly for press checks and things like that. Otherwise, it's really more aesthetic. It looks cool, but you know, I'm just talking about using them. So for both of them, the grip being lacking over here, and then the serrations in the front, those are the two knockoffs I'm gonna have on them. But both are phenomenal pieces. You cannot go wrong with either one of them. These can both bang. They've never jammed on me. I think these are both built for like a war zone, right? You're not gonna go wrong with either one of these. Definitely a good sword on your side. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.